Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome back to the program. We've been speaking with the National Secretary of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, Baba Othman Ngazama, from our Abuja studio. Let's get back to the conversation now. I'm very certain that you've heard people calling for the arrest of the Miyetti Allah leadership.
Well, I didn't hear your last words, but
the question is that over the issues of the clashes, if I may put the question so that you understand, over the clashes between herdsmen and farmers in several communities from Benue to Nasarawa. In fact, there is a report credited to the governor of Benue State asking the president to call for the arrest of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association leadership.
Is it the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association leadership?
Yes, there's a call for the arrest of the leadership of Miyetti Allah. I don't think you have heard the
governor very well. I don't think you have heard the governor very well. The governor has an issue with Miyetti Allah Cattle Hore. It's an entirely different association from Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association that I lead. This one that I lead has been in existence for over 30 years. And it was established as a non-political, non-violent association. So the governor is having issues with Miyetti Allah Cattle Hore. The Nigerians should know as from today there are two Miyetti Allahs. There's the Miyetti Allah Cattle Hore group, there's the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association group. This is the one that we lead. We are never a political association, we are never a violent association. That's why today we have respected northern traditional rulers as chairman and board of trustees of this association. We are never a violent association.
What is the difference between the first and the second? What's the difference?
Because, hello?
What is the difference between the two groups?
An entirely different registered Miyetti Allah Cattle Hore, different from our own. They have their own constitution, we have our own constitution. They have their own members, we also have our own members. So we know of our own, we don't know much about their own association. But the problem is, whenever the media is reporting something about the other Miyetti Allah, they only mention Miyetti Allah without completing the full name. Ours is Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association Magban, not Miyetti Allah Cattle Hore. This is the difference between the two.
From Miyetti Allah's point of view,
Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association.
So, from the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association perspective, what do you think is a possible solution to these killings?
Dialogue.
Dialogue over what?
Let's dialogue. Let's put our heads together. Let the farmers and the pastoralists come together, begin to discuss. Let's try to find out the missing communication link between these two. They have been living, coexisting together peacefully before. What is happening now? We know there are some political undertones in this crisis. Sometimes politicians today use people's lives to play politics. So there's a lot of political undertone in this crisis. But in addition to that, we know the pastoralists have about 415 grazing reserves in the country that were left for decades unattended. They have been neglected by the first administrations up till today. And natural, subnatural, and man-made factors are affecting the grazing reserves. In fact, that is what is forcing the pastoralists to move out in search of pasture out of those reserves into the hinterland, into the southern and the eastern parts of the country, because all the grazing reserves we have in the country are located in the northern part of the country, with only 3 are still located in the states of Ogun and Oyo. Apart from those 3, all the others we have are located in the northern part of the country. So the lack of maintenance and the effects of climate change and so many other things are the factors that are forcing these pastoralists to move out. And moreover, they still practice the primitive way of pastoralism, looking for free pasture, going around roaming the wild, looking for free pasture for their herds. But today, because of the growing population of both human beings and animals, this thing will no longer hold. So whether we like it or not, in the long run, we have to embrace ranching because of the growing population in the country of both human beings and animals. But renting, we know we have to embrace it in the long run, but it's not something that will come immediately. It's something that involves the changing of the way of life of a particular society of about 20 to 30 million in the country. People who are not skilled, who are not trained, who were left on their own for decades. So a lot should be done by the government to improve the skills of these guys. A lot should be done by the government to show them what 50 cows can do to them, that 300, 400 cows cannot do to them, because we know we still maintain the outdated species of cows that gives a maximum of not more than 3 liters of milk per cow per day, against an exotic breed that we have today in the world that is given 30 to 40 liters of milk per cow per day. We still maintain a cow that is weighing not more than 80 to 100 kilograms of meat, against a cow that today is weighing up to about 500. So we know we have to change. But changing requires quite a number of things. You are dealing with an uneducated, unskilled, untrained pastoralist who are still practicing the primitive system of pastoralism they inherited from their forefathers. To change them, it has to be a process. It has to be gradual. So all that we are telling the government, identify this grazing 415 grazing reserves that we have spread all over the north, that covers about 5 million hectares of land. Identify them, assess them, know the level of encroachment. Let the state governors begin to develop. Let the state government begin to imbibe the collaboration of private sector activities, so that they will come in, pilot the model of ranch. One other issue is pastoralism. Cow to an average pastoralist in Nigeria is not only for economic purpose.
All right,
Mr.
Ngazama, let me allow our other guests on the program tonight to weigh in on this matter. I understand now that we're being joined by Mr. Oluyemi, who is Mr. Charles Oluyemi, who is a public commentator. Let me quickly ask you, with what is happening on the ground right now, is it that the police have lost grip of the situation?
Come again, please. Yeah, when you look at it, you actually ask if the police are taking the situation. I want to quickly say that the issue we're having today in Nigeria about insecurity is actually telling us as a nation that we actually need to step up some of our security network. Especially, so some time ago, Nigeria, we are not exposed to, terrorism and all kinds of insecurity that we're experiencing today, violence. Of course, if we talk about the issue of the Plateau, for some time in the Plateau state, there's been issue of ethno-religious crisis, and of course, this has lingered for some period. But within the last 2, 3, 4 years, we've not had that again. Unfortunately, it's coming up again. And that is why we're actually calling, on the government to see what we can do. And what can we do? Aside from us talking from bias, from being political or any other ways, there are issues in the country that we have to know that we need to step up the game of the equipment of our police. If you look at it today, the rapid response of the Nigerian police is not yet to be where it should be. We still need more equipment to be given to the police. And I can say that the situation is already put in control. But the situation will have been immediately avoided if to say we have a lot of equipment where the police could get to a scene of a crime scene or crisis scene immediately. And when you look at the number of the police that we have, for example, that's what we talked sometimes ago about the budgeting of our police. If you look at Kenya, for example, we have about $1.2 billion to the budget of the police in Kenya. And when you, of course, the population of people less than 50 million. You talk about South Africa, they have about 5 billion. The budget runs to about $5 billion.
We're out of time.
So
Mr. Oluyemi, I wish we had you earlier so that we can have a more robust conversation. But I really thank you, Charles Oluyemi, public commentator, and also the National Secretary of Miyetti Allah, Baba Othman and Ngazama, both of them from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for your intervention tonight. That's our show for today. Many thanks for being part of it. I'm sure. Bye-bye.